All right, good morning. We have a quorum, so thank you for being here. We're going to start off first with cards. And again, these are going to be only on issues pertaining to the purview of this committee. That'll be the only warning. If there's anything beyond that, you'll forfeit your time, including general public comment. It's all included. So we'll go ahead and go right into cards. Yes. So we've got Herman on, looks like every item. So you got 2 minutes on all the items, then 1 minute for general public comment.
Item 5, Mayor, the City Administrative Report, Fiscal Year 2013. Fuck it. Item number 6, Mayor, City Administrative Officers Relative Physical Report from 2015 Urban Area Security Grant Authorities. I say fuck it too. Item number 7, Police Board Commission City Administrative Fiscal 2017-2018 Real Estate Fraud Prosecution Program Grant. Fuck it too. And then I go item 8, Police Commission City Administrative Officer Report. Fuck the Fiscal Year 2016-2017 Records Management System Traffic Module Grant Modification. Yes. And then item 9, Board of Police Commission Report relative to Supplement Police Count, second quarterly report. Fuck April through June 2017 for the record. And then I go back now to item number 1, dealing with Corette's and the Board of Fire Commissioners report to the relevant instruction of Lawrence Fire Department for building and safety. They continue to promote unsafe issues under the Department of Building and Safety. And why do I say that? Because a report of current fire suppression and sprinkler system requirements have not met the requirements under the ADA 2010 standard code for buildings. After all, it is disabled and the elderly that live in buildings that are unsafe a majority of the time, and it's time for the fire commissioners to do a physical report based on, excuse me, I'm speaking, please. Then fuck that one too. Let's just go to number 2, WEZAR. Relative fucking instruction for the Los Angeles fucked up police department of the transportation in conjunction to the fucked up Los Angeles Police Department. Well, in Van Nuys, now on general public comment, AG-E LACV 1708064 for the record. Chief Charlie Albeck was served last night in Van Nuys by Michael Hunt, the Red Chief, for the record. Fuck you.
All right. Thank you for that. Let's see. Mr. Previn's turn. So, Mr. Previn, you got 2 minutes. Items 2 and 3, and then 1 minute for general public comment. Same rules.
Sorry?
Same rules.
Okay. Good morning. It's Eric Previn from CD2. And I live in Studio City. I'm on the Neighborhood Council, but I'm speaking on behalf of myself today. And first of all, I'd like to acknowledge that last night the Police Commission met in Van Nuys, which was very nice. I wish we had...
You're not talking about a specific agenda item. You forfeit your time. I've already given you the warning on that. Well, this is not about the Police Commission where they met. Okay, so go ahead and start as 1 minute for general public comment. We'll give you that, okay?
Wait a minute. The cadet program was on the agenda last night. I want to, because it's on your agenda at item 3 today.
You got your 1 minute for general public comment.
What are you doing, sir? I mean, I'm trying to talk about the cadet program where there were multiple...
You were talking about the Police Commission in Van Nuys, so you got your 1 minute. You can talk about whatever you want.
Item 2 is about the bicycle thing, and what I want to say about that was I appreciate your working on the idea of possibly...
Excuse me, second. Mr. Herman, you just interrupted this meeting. Please escort him out, sergeants. You know the rules.
What's going on? You got to restore my time.
No, I held your time.
No, you didn't hold my time.
No, you're still disrupting this meeting.
That's what happens when you fuck with people. 42 U.S.C. 12101. You can't discriminate against people with mental health. You fucking freak. You fucking whore. Good thing your wife...
I'm still disrupting this meeting. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, you got your 37 seconds back.
No.
You can go ahead and start.
Sir, you've truncated my time.
You can go ahead and start this time.
90%.
We stopped it. Okay.
Okay. The bicycle citation in exchange for a school program is a good idea, but I think what we have to face in Los Angeles, and I know you and Krikorian were concerned about the bicycle liability, is some kind of bicycle insurance. And though I'm not the one who likes to ring the bell of the insurance lobbyists and all those groups, we have to find some way, because Buscaino, we can't underwrite this. I was driving near my house, there's bike lane, terrible pothole, but what is this, a business plan? People going around falling in the pot? We can't do that. We want to fix the streets, but we can't do it. And finally, the retaliation lawsuits. I wanted to talk about that in my general public comment. Are you going to give me a general public comment, or are you literally going to violate?
This is your general
your
public comment.
protocol?
Okay, your time's up. Thank you very much. That was your general public comment.
Sir,
Thank
you're
you.
out of line.
Excuse me, now you're disrupting this
I'm gonna
meeting.
file a Brown Act violation.
Okay, sergeants, please escort him out. Your time was up, and I asked you to continue to disrupt this meeting, Mr. Previn. You're still disrupting this meeting. Mr. Previn, you've been asked to leave. You're disrupting this meeting, and you're still talking during the meeting and disrupting it. You've been asked to leave already. Mr. Previn, you've been asked to leave for disrupting this meeting. Your time was up, and you continue to talk. You know the rules. You speak at every single one of these meetings, virtually, in every committee, in every council meeting. You're disrupting this meeting. You were asked to leave. Now you're holding up this meeting because you were asked to leave. Sergeants, please go ahead and escort him out. Excuse me, you're still disrupting this meeting and talking, and you're not listening to sergeants. You need to leave, Mr. Previn. You need to leave. For those of you from any folks here that have never been here before, welcome. And these are often what we have to go through. We have regulars that show up and like to disrupt the meeting and exercise their First Amendment, which we appreciate, but there are rules. They're pretty simple rules. We just ask people to follow the rules. And anyway, moving on. So we've got cards on item 2, so we're going to go ahead and hear item 2. Item 1, we were asked to continue that item per Councilmember Koretz, so we'll continue item 1 for a later date, and we'll go ahead and hear item 4. What I ask my colleagues to do is go ahead and approve then item 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 on consent, unless there are any questions.
Mr. Chair, I have a technical correction for item 6.
Yes.
I'd like to read into the record. Recommendation 2B of the CAO report, the account number should be 001090 for overtime general instead of 001060. That's
Okay.
just a technical correction.
So approve with that technical correction, and we'll go ahead and move that item as corrected as well. Colleagues, any other questions on any items? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move those without objection and that technical correction. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead then, and since we have cards on item 2, we'll go ahead and move to item 2, which is relative to instructing the LAPD to report on the review of the cadet program. And the first card we have is Colin, looks like. And then another card from Anisha. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for your patience. I
We have
appreciate it.
1 minute?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so my name is Colin Bogart, the Education Director for the Los Angeles County Bicycle Coalition. I strongly encourage the city to establish a bicycle traffic school that is community-based and improves the safety of our city's bicyclists by emphasizing education over citations. We often get calls from people who are cited while riding a bicycle at LACBC. All of them are shocked by the high cost of the fines and are even more surprised that they cannot attend a traffic school to reduce or eliminate that fine. The current system unfairly penalizes residents who bike, creates a significant financial burden for low-income households, and fails to prioritize road safety through education. We already know that the city of El Monte has established a similar program. We're finding that the average fine is $399. One young person, his fines were $916. And it's shocking to think what would have happened to that young man if he had not been given the opportunity to attend traffic school in that case. So I urge your support for this traffic school, and I applaud Council Members Weezar and Bonin for forwarding it. Thank you.
Right. Oh, thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning, committee members. My name is Anisha Hingarani, Health Equity Policy Analyst at the Advancement Project California, a multiracial civil rights organization. I just wanted to echo Colin's comments around supporting the city and establishing a bicycle traffic school. Currently, bicyclists don't have the same options as motorists, but get the same amount of fines. So we're talking serious financial burdens for cyclists who can't afford a vehicle and bike because they have to. And we're talking about up to $916 worth of fines for young people, for seniors, for people of color. So this is a serious financial issue for them. Like Colin mentioned, we're looking at the city of San El Monte, who they've been able to save over a dozen residents over $5,500 worth of fines, and replace that with an educational program that is culturally competent, that is sensitive and in language, and really emphasizes education and understanding the rules of the road and being safe stewards of the roads along with motorists and pedestrians. So we support the city in creating this, and we look forward to partnering with you all to make it happen. Thank you.
You guys timed both of those perfectly to a minute, and like got in every breath. That was well done. Appreciate it, and thanks for your comments. Colleagues, do you have any comments on this? Okay, well, I have a minor one, and that is that this just makes sense. We have already an online school for alarms as well. We certainly have different school programs for traffic and moving citations and other types of citations. To have them for cycling, we were never allowed to do that. And I think it was Assemblymember Bloom that passed the legislation that took effect January 1st of, was it last year? So other municipalities have already created the programs, so we don't have to recreate anything from scratch. I know this just supports that effort moving forward to come back with a plan. So I know that I think we all support that, and we'll go ahead and do that, and that'll be moved without objection. Thanks for being here. It was your comments that put us over the top, so appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. All right. So with that, I believe we have one item left, and that will be item 4. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 3 was on consent because what we were asking is, I wanted to have a long discussion about the cadet program, but we're actually waiting for then a report back. And so I was told by LAPD that report and whatever was heard in commission hasn't been transmitted yet to this committee, if there is something in writing. And the latest, if you want to speak on that real quick, Harry.
There were basically the original report, which has gone to the commission, is involving the cadet program specifically. There's some follow-up reports pursuant to your request for a look at other youth programs. That's still pending. So once that's heard by the commission, our intent would be to bundle those together and send them back to the committee.
Yeah, which makes sense. So hopefully that'll be done. And from my understanding, it was an issue of communication. We were waiting for the report, and then had learned that the commission wanted to make sure the council actually moved the motion requesting that all of those elements in the motion were studied and came back to commission, then to come to committee. So that's why we've scheduled it to move that. So we were waiting for a report that was non-existent in essence. And so I think that was on our behalf to follow up and follow through. So that's why we scheduled it. So we'll go ahead and we'll move it to council. And then as soon as that report comes through commission, we'll schedule it here.
Very good.
Thank you. Okay, thanks for being here. Okay, and thanks for the clarification on that. And so item 4, I'd like to go ahead and turn that over to my colleague.
Thank you. Thank you, colleagues, for allowing us to kind of do a deeper dive on some of the conversations in the aftermath of the La Tuna fire. I'd like to actually invite up the members of that are here representing the departments from PD, Chief Sherman, Chief Richmond from LAFD, and also I know we have. Are you with Bureau of Engineering this morning?
Yes, we have a rep here.
And DOT.
And DOT.
And then we also, I'm sorry, we also had Rec and Parks and Animal Services, correct?
I believe those reps are all here today.
Terrific. I just had a couple of additional questions based on, I know we're prepared to, the report's been completed and, still kind of in the aftermath of of the fire, looking at what we could have done better, what we're going to continue to address in terms of the threat, given mudslides, the potential for mudslides in some of the burn areas. So just to start off with BOE, I wanted to see if we could have just do a deeper dive on what the situation is with some of the hillsides in the area and what we're doing to mitigate the potential risks.
Yes, council member. The Bureau of Engineering, Geotechnical Engineering Division looked at a total of 16 sites. We started with the Tuna Canyon Road. We were called out there on the behalf of Department of Transportation on actually Labor Day, September 4th, and we did a very thorough evaluation. We do what we call a field investigation memo, which typically takes 2 or 3 days. In this case, because of the longer segment, we responded on September 4th. We also went out there on other occasions and did a more thorough evaluation of this area and provided recommendations for additional K-rail, replaced of the burned-out timbers of the slough wall, and replacement of some guardrail posts that were also burned by the fire. We issued our first field investigation memo on September 27th, just in regards to that specific instance along the road there. Then on behalf, we got a request from the county about middle of September to go out and look at the debris fences. So we went out and looked at those and issued a report on September 27th for debris fences. Following that, we worked with the EMD and did some additional work with the NRCS people and looked at several sites. So we have developed mitigation measures. We looked at a total of 16 sites. And of the 16, we're providing recommendations for additional mitigation for 8 of the sites. 1 of the sites was not accessible, and 7 of the sites, with regards to protection of city infrastructure and right-of-way, we don't see any additional need to provide any additional services. So there's, of the 8 sites, we do provide recommendations for replacement of K-rail, cleaning out of basins, installation of debris fences. Those are all provided in Table 1 of the attachment to the report.
And so of the sites that you've identified as requiring some of this work, has there already been a work plan in place, and have we already executed all of those sites?
We've provided copies of our recommendations for the Latuna Canyon Road to the Bureau of Street Services. We generally work with Bureau of Street Services to get the work done. They have the equipment and manpower to do those type of repairs. If it is beyond their capability, we could go out to one of our on-call emergency contractors. That would require funding to pay for the contractors. So at this point, we're gathering a plan and working with them to see what they can do, and then move forward with either having them do some of the work along Latuna Canyon, or like I said, if funding would be provided, we could go out to our on-call contractor list. For the other sites where the debris fences were damaged, we're working with the county to see if the county, I believe, has offered to repair the ones that were previously installed in the, I think, the early 1980s in response to a previous fire. We're also reaching out to them to see if they will install additional structures at some of the other locations we've identified. And we're working with Rec and Parks to clean out some of the other debris basins near the Hollywood Way area.
Okay, thank you. Is there someone from Bureau of Street Services? I thought I saw Keith here. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you.
Morning, Keith.
Good morning.
Could you help provide an update on where we're at in meeting some of the areas that were identified by BOE for installation of K-rails or replacement of some of these guardrails, where we're at?
Right now we don't have a plan yet to deploy any K-rails at this particular moment. We keep about 150 K-rails on hand at all times for a specific deployment. And for us to place them out there, of course, we would seek funding, different things like that. But to do the work for the guardrail and the K-rail, it may be best that we ask that this may go to BOE through contract at this time. So I will work with BOE specifically on that to identify those areas and then get back to you on that.
Okay. So we need to start working on that mitigation plan and executing that right away. And please let's coordinate with my office to make sure that we have those resources deployed and executed as quickly as possible, given some of the imminent concerns that we had based on what you've identified. I think that would be of great importance right now.
Yes.
So,
But I will do that. And also on a side note, as I mentioned in our report, we will basically monitor the location to basically if there is any mud flow, debris runoff, we will be out there nights, weekends, or whatever it takes as far as to respond to that and monitor the location.
okay. All right. Thank you. I think that actually, and Chief Sherman and Chief Richmond, thank you for being here. I know the work with the county has been very productive, and I want to thank you both for all of your support and coordination efforts to help assure that we are doing all that we can to respond in the aftermath. And actually, what I just want to do, just for the purposes of time, I just wanted to I don't know if you have any additional report backs, but I wanted to go ahead and delve in with some of the deployment that we're going to be talking about as it relates to Notify LA with EMD, LAFD. Have you guys all kind of come back and figured out and established a protocol for?
Council member, I could perhaps address that. Rob Freeman with the Emergency Management Department. So we are reviewing our standard operating procedures for Notify LA with LAPD and LAFD to ensure that it can be readily available for any winter storm impact on the burn area. To that end, we have already completed an initial test. So the folks in the burn area that have registered for Notify LA, we did a test call, and we successfully reached out to over 3,000 households. So we know that the notification system can work. Now we're fine-tuning a couple of the other components of that, including the wireless emergency alert capability. That's a broader federal-type alerting system. You're probably familiar with it by receiving Amber Alerts on your cell phone, so that extending it beyond just those that have registered for notification, anyone with a cell phone in a geo-fenced area is going to receive an alert. So we've actually had conference calls with FEMA to confirm how tight of a geographic area can we ensure. I'm sure you've heard that concerns in Sonoma and Napa, emergency managers, they're concerned about over-notifying and the potential that has for more people evacuating than the roads can support and how that might impede first responders. So we are looking to do a test of the WIA system to see how precise it is, but those are all available to us. So if the rains came today and we had to notify folks, we have things in place. So we're really just fine-tuning the system that these three departments maintain and re-upping on our training and looking at our SOPs to make sure everything's good to go. But the first test, very successful.
Good. Good to hear. Well, thank you all very much. I appreciate that. I know making sure that that system is tested when, again, so much of our emergency preparedness comes in our testing of our systems and making sure our protocols. This whole experience has been an opportunity to test exactly what we've got in place and where we needed to refine our process going forward. So thank you for your coordinated efforts on that. I appreciate that. And then finally, just the last part of what I wanted to report back on. And so, gentlemen, thank you. We're good. I don't know, unless you had some other items that you wanted to report back on.
No, I would just offer Councilmember Trevor Richmond, Deputy Chief, Operations Valley Bureau, that myself and Chief Sherman have been working over the past several weeks on a command posture. Fortunately, we know when the rains are going to come. We didn't know when the brush fire was going to happen, so we're a little ahead of the game. And with the LA County Public Works maps and our collaborative effort, 100% confident that we'll be leaning forward and we'll be evacuating people that need to be evacuated sooner than later.
Terrific.
And just the only other remark I would make is ensuring you about the relationships that are occurring here. Mr. Freeman came out with our racer division to all the citywide bureau chiefs, Chief Moore's direct reports, and spoke to all of them, provided training on WIA, on Notify LA and the Nixle process. So that's occurring, and that testing that Mr. Freeman talked about is occurring specifically in your district with Captain Eskridge, who's here today. We're going to really try to literally go out to the people that we think we're going to be evacuating and do tests with them, when it's not raining to make sure that works. And that's what I've asked of Mr. Freeman and Captain Eskridge. And we'll put some cops out there with some cell phones and with some tablets to actually get out on the streets in the cul-de-sacs to see if it's working. And we hope to do that in the next couple weeks.
Terrific. Thank you both. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. And just my final questions, actually, as it related to evacuation, I wanted to, because one of the concerns that we had was the evacuation of equine and large animals in the district in particular. And so if we have Rec and Parks and Animal Services here, I would like to hear on what your protocols are now, given the experience that we most recently had.
Good morning, Council Member. So Jimmy Kim, Department of Recreation and Parks Emergency Manager. The department has developed in coordination with Animal Services a standard operating procedures in activating large animal shelters. We didn't have that in place prior to this, to the fire. Currently, the document is with EMD for review. Once EMD reviews the document, then we will meet with the concessions owners to make sure that we're all on the same page. Once that happens, then our coordination and activation and intake of animals will be a lot more orderly than it was with this last incident. So.
Terrific. Thank you very much. This is part of the process that is required, and I think it's great for us to review what our protocols were. That scenario, I don't want to have to cancel a scheduled rodeo because no one knew about it on the day of. But, obviously those are the types of opportunities for leadership that we must deploy in those sensitive emergencies. But I want to thank you for heeding the call and working so collaboratively with Animal Services to assure that we help to address this going forward, because, we can't anticipate these things, but when they happen, we need to be ready. And, look forward to our continued dialogue to assure that, we talk and reach out to the equestrian community so that they're also well-versed on what the protocols are going forward in collaboration with EMD and you all as well.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Oh, thank you.
Did you say rodeo?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Rodeos in the city.
I have a very diverse district.
All right. I'll take a rodeo. Fantastic.
I have a
You have Navy ships.
We have ships, yeah, sailing. But, Mr. Chairman, if I can, what we witnessed, and it was a moment where we reflect back on the largest brush fire in the city's history, and we work and train, collaborate, and communicate with all interagencies, and just want to applaud your efforts, and thank you for your service, and all city departments who came forward, and the residents who were very engaged and also cooperative. We've experienced brush fires up and down this great state. Most recently up north, and I know what we experienced could have gotten a lot worse. So, and to our colleague, if I can, Mr. Chairman, and Monica, this was your first test, truly, when you just got thrown into the fire, literally. And I just want to recognize your leadership. You're on the ground. The fact that your father was a fireman, really, I think that helped a little bit. But you're there, active, engaged, this command post, working alongside our partners here. So I just want to really recognize you and your leadership. And I think by having you there at the press conferences, updates with even the chairman and the mayor, really solidifies, your commitment to the district. So. Just want to recognize you as well, Monica. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, thank you. And
thank you, colleagues. I want to thank you. I know we've been working on this. The departments have all come together in such a cooperative form, and then also to our county partners. And I have a wonderful partner in Supervisor Catherine Barker, who has also been helping to shepherd in a lot of resources at the county level. It's been, I think, the greatest example of a cooperative effort that I've seen. Mm-hmm. And so I want to thank you all for your continued efforts to help assure that we're refining our process and that we're better at what we do, because that's our responsibility. So thank you all.
How are we doing on the cell site on the 210?
It's fixed.
I know, and I brought it up. So I'm driving through there right after we had that last committee meeting, and I brought it up, and I'm like, wow, seriously? She's that good?
I'm that good.
She's that good.
4 months.
I mean, because it had been 15 years. 15 years. It didn't burn. We never had one.
Never had cell service in that area.
Never had cell service in there. Yeah, it was just,
And it's part
yeah.
of the emergency response.
That was
And
awesome.
again, you know, God forbid we had a circumstance where someone might have been there. They would have literally had no means of communication.
Well, exactly where the fire started, too.
Exactly
I mean,
where the
it
fire
was the
started.
hot
So-
spot of the fire, no cell service.
Absolutely. So
See cars
I think
broken down on the side of the
my-
road there all the
One of my
time.
highlight accomplishments in my early
No, it
tenure.
was phenomenal. I mean, you ought to talk to your chief of staff about having that ROS system put up in that whole area too. I don't know. Is Doug in the room? Yeah, he better run. He better hide. My first motion I ever put in as a council member, Doug was working on it. It's still not done. Anyway, so with that.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'd like to note and file, recommend that we note and file this report.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I will go ahead and note and file it with an asterisk. Also note that Doug had nothing to do with that cell site, clearly. Clearly, because we would not be talking about it if he did. No. Thank you all. And I think there was the others that we didn't, that weren't mentioned, that I think need to be mentioned, besides the ones we always mention, were all the volunteers. I mean, CEMP, the Large Animal Rescue, I mean, everybody that came to volunteer. I mean, there were so many volunteers, the reserves that showed up. There were so many volunteers that we can't do it alone, and so we thank them as well. So, all right, with that, anything else, gentlemen, you wish to add? Oh, okay, great job. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. That concludes this agenda, and we'll go ahead and move that note and file without objection, and we are adjourned. All right, thank you.